I am wheelchair user and my girlfriend brought me to the casino for my birthday. Then she said half your winnings or find another ride home, demanding half of my winnings. What do? I need some perspective here because I honestly cannot tell if I am being unreasonable, or if this situation is as messed up as it feels. I was in a motorcycle accident about 14 months ago, spent 2 months in the hospital, another 3 in intensive physical therapy. I am still in a wheelchair, but my doctors are optimistic. I will be walking with assistance by November, maybe December. The recovery has been slow but steady. I mention this because it is relevant to what happened. My girlfriend Sarah and I have been together for 6 years. We met in university, started dating in 3rd year, and we have been solid ever since. Or at least I thought we were. She moved into my place about 7 months ago. I inherited the house from my grandmother, so it is fully paid off, which has been a lifesaver given all the medical expenses. Sarah works part-time at an art gallery, more for something to do than out of necessity. Her family is wealthy, old money from the oil industry here in Alberta. She gets a monthly trust fund payment that is more than most people make working full-time. For my birthday last week, Sarah suggested we go to the casino. I had never been to one before. It is not really my scene. And before the accident, I would have just driven myself if I wanted to check it out. But being in the wheelchair means I need someone to drive me places. At least for now. Sarah mentioned a few times that she doesn't like gambling, thinks it is a waste of money, but she said she would take me as a birthday treat and then pick me up after a few hours. I met up with 2 buddies from work there. We grabbed dinner at the casino restaurant first, then hit the slots. I am not going to lie, it was fun. I set myself a limit of $200 that I was willing to lose. Figured it was my birthday, and I deserved to do something different. Here is where it gets interesting. About an hour and a half in, I hit on a progressive slot. Not the big jackpot, but a substantial secondary payout. When the machine finally stopped celebrating, I had won CAD $3,487. After cashing out and accounting for what I had spent, I walked away with about $3,500 even. I was thrilled. I called Sarah to tell her the good news. Figured she would be excited for me. My student loans have been hanging over my head for years. I have got about $4,200 left on them, and I had been chipping away at them slowly. This win meant I could pay off most of it in one shot, maybe all of it if I added a bit from my next paycheck. I was already planning to take Sarah somewhere nice for dinner with some of the leftover money, maybe finally get that decent couch we had been talking about. Her response wasn't what I expected. She went quiet for a second, then said, "That is great. So when you get home we can split it." I laughed. Thought she was joking. "Split it? What do you mean?" "I mean half for you, half for me. I drove you there, didn't I? Plus we have been together for 6 years. What is yours is mine at this point." I genuinely couldn't tell if she was serious. "Sarah, I am going to use this for my student loans. I have been trying to pay those off forever." "You can pay them off with your half," she said. Her voice had this edge to it I had never heard before. "I am not asking. I am telling you. 50-50. I tried to explain that it didn't make sense. We don't share bank accounts. We split rent and groceries proportionally based on income, which means I pay more even though it is my house, because she insisted on contributing, and I didn't want her to feel like she was freeloading. But our finances are separate. I have never asked her for money. She has never offered to help with my medical bills or student loans. If you don't agree to split it, I am not picking you up," she said. I thought she was bluffing. "Come on, Sarah. Don't be like this." She hung up. I waited, called her back 3 times, went to voicemail, texted her. Nothing. One of my buddies, Marcus, saw what was happening and offered to give me a ride home. We loaded my wheelchair into his truck and he drove me back. The whole drive I kept thinking Sarah would call back and apologize, say she was just having a bad day or something. She wasn't at the house when I got home. I texted her again. "I am home. Can we talk about this?" No response. That was around 8 p.m. It is almost 2 a.m. now, and she still hasn't come back or answered any of my messages. I have gone from confused to angry to just completely bewildered. Here is the thing. Sarah doesn't need this money. She gets $4,000 deposited into her account every month from her family trust. Her car payment, insurance, and phone bill are all paid directly by her parents. The $3,500 I won would be meaningful to me for my loans. But to her it is barely more than a week's allowance. She could call her father right now and have double that amount in her account by morning if she wanted it. So I am sitting here trying to understand what just happened. Is this about the money? Is it about control? Is it about something else entirely? We have had disagreements before, normal couple stuff, but nothing like this. She has never been demanding about money. She is actually pretty frugal despite her family's wealth. She clips coupons, waits for sales, drives a modest car. So this explosion over my casino winnings feels like it came out of nowhere. Part of me feels guilty. Maybe I am being selfish. We are in a long-term relationship. Maybe she has a point about sharing things. But another part of me is really angry that she stranded me at a casino on my birthday in a wheelchair because I wouldn't give her money she doesn't even need. I don't know what to do when she comes home. Do I apologize to keep the peace? Do I stand my ground? Do I give her half the money just to make this go away? Am I wrong here? Am I missing something obvious? Edit. Reading through these comments while waiting for her to come home. The consensus seems pretty clear. I appreciate everyone pointing out the obvious that my brain apparently couldn't process. The what if you had lost money question really hit home. Going to try to get some sleep. Update 1. I wasn't expecting that response. Thank you to everyone who commented. I read every single one, even the ones that were harsh. I needed the reality check. Sarah came home around 4 a.m. I heard her come in, but I pretended to be asleep on the couch. I wasn't ready to have that conversation at 4 in the morning. She went straight to the bedroom and closed the door. I got maybe 2 hours of actual sleep. By 9 a.m. I was up making coffee when she came out. She looked like she had been crying, which threw me off. My first instinct was to ask if she was okay, which is messed up considering what she had done. We need to talk, she said, sitting down at the kitchen table. I poured 2 coffees and sat across from her. My hands were shaking a bit. I have never been good with confrontation. I am sorry I left you there, she started. That was wrong. I was upset, and I reacted badly. I waited for more. When nothing came, I said, upset about what exactly? About the money situation. About us. Sarah, I need you to explain what is actually going on here. Last night made no sense to me. She did this thing she does when she is uncomfortable, picking at her cuticles. You don't understand what it is like. What is like? Everyone thinks I have it so easy because of my family's money. But it is not mine. It is theirs. It is always held over my head. Every purchase I make. Every decision. They are watching. The trust fund isn't freedom. It is a leash. I wanted to be sympathetic. I really did, but I also wanted to understand what this had to do with my casino winnings. Okay, but what does that have to do with asking for half of what I won? You won that money. You earned it. It is actually yours. I have never earned anything in my life. Everything I have is because of my last name. Her voice cracked. I thought if we split it, I could have something that was mine that we built together. I sat there processing this. On one level, I understood feeling trapped by family money. On another level, this made absolutely no sense as a justification. Sarah, you stranded me at a casino in a wheelchair because I wouldn't give you money. You don't need, so you could feel like you earned something. She flinched. When you say it like that, how else am I supposed to say it? I wasn't yelling. But my voice was firm in a way it usually isn't. I have $4,000 in student loans. You have $4,000 deposited into your account every month that you didn't have to work for. I need this money. You don't. It is not about needing it then. What is it about? Because from where I am sitting, it looks like you decided my lucky break should be yours too. We went back and forth for a while. She kept trying to make it about her feelings, her family dynamics, her need to prove herself. I kept bringing it back to the fact that she had abandoned me and demanded money that would actually make a difference in my life. Finally, I asked her point blank, if I had lost $500 last night, would you be offering to cover half of that? She didn't answer right away. When she did, it was quiet. That is different. How? Because? I don't know. It just is. That is when something clicked for me. All those times she had been frugal with her money, careful about spending, clipping coupons even though she could buy anything she wanted. I had thought it was admirable, being responsible despite wealth. But reading the comments last night made me realize something else. You like having money, I said slowly, working it out as I spoke. You like having it sit there. But you don't like it when other people get money that you didn't get. Her face went red. That is not fair, isn't it? Think about it. Every time one of our friends has something good happen financially, you find a way to diminish it. When Marcus got his promotion, you said he had just gotten lucky with timing. When Jenna's art sold at that gallery, you said the buyer probably didn't know what they were looking at. I always thought you were just being realistic. But it is not that. You are resentful. I am not resentful, she said, but she wouldn't look at me. Sarah, you demanded half of my casino winnings and stranded me when I said no. If that is not resentment, what is it? She started crying again. Part of me wanted to comfort her. 6 years of habit trying to kick in. But I stayed in my chair. I think we have different values, I said. I don't think either of us realized how different until now. What are you saying? I am saying I need some time to think about whether this relationship still works. She looked up at me, shocked. Over money. You had thrown away 6 years over money. It is not about the money. It is about what the money revealed. She stood up quickly, her chair scraping against the floor. Fine. If you need time to think, I will give you time. She went to the bedroom and started packing a bag. I sat at the kitchen table listening to drawers opening and closing, hangers sliding across the closet rod. 20 minutes later, she came out with a duffel bag and her laptop case. I will stay at my parents' place for a few days, she said at the door. When you are done thinking, let me know. Then she left. I have spent the day going through everything in my head. The comments on my last post about whether she would have paid half if I had lost really stuck with me. I called Marcus and told him what happened. He was quiet for a minute, then said, "Man, I have been waiting for you to see it." See what? That she resents you. That word again. Why would she resent me? Because you are handling your shit. You got dealt a terrible hand with the accident, and you are dealing with it. You work, you pay your bills, you don't complain. Meanwhile, she has got everything handed to her and she is miserable. That is hard for people to watch when they cannot get out of their own way. I don't know if Marcus is right, but it is given me a lot to think about. The money is still sitting in my bank account. I haven't touched it. Part of me is waiting to see what she does next. Part of me is scared to make any moves until I know what I want. What I do know is that I cannot unsee this. Whether we stay together or break up, I will always know that when I had something good happen to me, her first thought was how to take half of it. Edit. A lot of people are asking why I am even considering staying with her. Fair question. 6 years is a long time. I keep thinking there must be something I can do or say to fix this. Some way to make her understand why this was so wrong. But I am starting to realize that might be the sunken cost fallacy talking. Update 2: Sarah came back yesterday. I need to write this down while it is fresh because I still cannot quite believe how it played out. She texted me Saturday afternoon, "Can I come by to talk?" I said yes. I had spent the last few days reading through all your comments, talking to friends, even calling my sister in Vancouver to get her take on things. Everyone said the same thing in different ways. This relationship was showing me who Sarah really is, and I needed to pay attention. She arrived around 6 p.m. with takeout from my favorite place. Peace offering, I guess. We ate mostly in silence. The food tasted like cardboard to me, but I forced it down anyway. After we cleaned up, we sat in the living room. She was on the couch. I stayed in my wheelchair. Something about getting up onto the couch felt like it would make this conversation too casual, too normal. "I have been thinking a lot," she started, "about what you said, about resentment and you might be right. Not about everything, but about some of it." She picked at her cuticles again. "My therapist says I have issues with weight." "You have been seeing a therapist?" "For about 8 months now. Since shortly after I moved in, I had no idea." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because it felt like admitting something was wrong with me. My family doesn't really do therapy. My mom thinks it is self-indulgent." She laughed bitterly. "But I knew I was struggling with something and I couldn't figure it out on my own." "Struggling with what?" She took a breath. "When you had your accident, I thought I was going to lose you. Those first few weeks in the hospital were terrifying. And then when you started recovering, when you started doing physical therapy and pushing yourself. I was so proud of you. Okay, but then you kept getting stronger, and I started feeling left behind. That sounds insane. I know. You are the one who is actually going through something hard, and somehow I made it about me. Sarah, I don't understand what this has to do with the casino money. My therapist asked me the same question you did. If you had lost money, would I have offered to split the loss? And I realized the answer was no. I wouldn't have. And that made me look at why. She was quiet for a long moment. I think I wanted you to need me. When you were first injured, you needed help with everything. I was the one driving you to appointments, helping you in and out of the chair, cooking all your meals because you couldn't reach the kitchen counters easily. I felt useful, important. My stomach turned. And then I started being able to do things myself. You started figuring out systems. You got that reacher tool. You rearranged the kitchen. You went back to work. You didn't need me anymore. Not in that same way. And instead of being happy about your progress, I felt obsolete. So when I won money, when you won money, it was one more thing you had accomplished without me. And I tried to take credit for it by demanding half. Like if I couldn't be part of your recovery, at least I could be part of your win. I sat there absorbing this. It was honest in a way I hadn't expected. It was also completely unacceptable as an excuse for her behavior. Sarah, that is really messed up. I know. No. I mean really fucked up. You wanted me to stay dependent on you? Not consciously, but my therapist thinks that is what was happening. Yeah. I ran my hands over my face. I don't know what to do with this information. I am not telling you this to make excuses. I am telling you because you deserve to know what was really going on in my head. And because I am going to work on it. I am going to keep seeing my therapist. Maybe increase to twice a week. That is good, I said. That is really good. But Sarah, I don't think it is enough. Her face fell. What do you mean? I mean I have spent the last 4 days realizing that I don't trust you anymore. You stranded me because I wouldn't give you money. That is not something I can just get over because you explain the psychology behind it. I said I was sorry. You said you were sorry for leaving me at the casino. You didn't say you were sorry for demanding the money in the first place. Even now, talking about your therapy revelations, you are still making this about your feelings and your struggles. You haven't once acknowledged that what you did was fundamentally selfish and wrong. She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. You are right. I didn't. I am sorry I demanded half your winnings. That was selfish and wrong, and you didn't deserve it. Thank you for saying that. Does this mean we are breaking up? I had been thinking about this question for days. I think it has to. Not because I don't care about you, or because I want to punish you, but because I cannot be in a relationship where someone resents my independence. I worked really hard to get back on my feet literally and figuratively. I need a partner who celebrates that with me, not someone who subconsciously wants me to stay helpless so they feel needed. She was crying now, really crying. 6 years, David. I know. Believe me, I know. Can we try couples therapy? Can we work on this together? I don't think so. I think you need to work on you, and I need to focus on my recovery and my life. Those are separate paths. We talked for another hour. She asked if she could stay one more night. Find a place tomorrow. I said okay. We both knew it was really over though. You can feel it when something ends. Like a light going out. This morning she packed up the rest of her stuff. It wasn't much since she had only moved in 7 months ago. Most of the furniture was mine or my grandmother's. She took her clothes, her laptop, some art supplies, a few kitchen things she would brought. At the door she turned back. For what it is worth, I really did love you. I still do. I loved you too, but love isn't enough when the other stuff is this broken. She nodded and left. The house feels empty now, but it is a different kind of empty than after my accident. Then, everything felt hollow because I was struggling to do basic things by myself. Now it feels empty, because someone's gone. But I am still here, still capable, still moving forward. I paid off my student loans this afternoon. All of them. The last payment went through at 3:47 p.m. I sat looking at the zero balance for probably 10 minutes. Then I called Marcus and told him I would buy him dinner as a thank you for the ride home from the casino. You don't have to do that, man. I want to. You really helped me out when I needed it. Let me return the favor. We are going out tomorrow night. He is bringing his girlfriend. I am going alone, but I am okay with that. Final update. I wasn't planning to update again, but something happened today that felt worth sharing, especially after all the support you have given me. I have been doing okay this past week, better than I expected. Honestly, the house doesn't feel as empty anymore. I have been rearranging furniture, making the space feel more like mine and less like ours. Painted the bedroom wall that Sarah always hated. She thought the color was too dark. I love it. Small steps toward a new normal. Physical therapy has been going great. My therapist says I am ahead of schedule. We started working with forearm crutches yesterday, and I managed to get from the car to the clinic entrance without the wheelchair. It was only about 40 feet, but it felt like running a marathon. My arms were shaking by the end, but I did it. Sarah has texted a few times. Nothing dramatic. Just logistics about mail that is still coming to the house in her name, asking if she left a sweater here. She didn't. I have been cordial but brief. A few of her friends have reached out asking what happened. I kept it simple. We wanted different things. It wasn't working anymore. I didn't trash talk her. There is no point. But here is the thing that happened today that made me want to update. I was at the grocery store this afternoon. I am getting pretty good at the wheelchair plus shopping cart maneuver. I was in the produce section trying to reach a bag of apples on the top shelf when I heard someone say, "Need a hand." I looked up and there was this woman about my age, maybe a year or two younger. She was tall, athletic build, had this really genuine smile. "If you don't mind," I said. "The apples are apparently only for people over 6 feet tall." She laughed and grabbed the bag, put it in my cart. Store design is terrible for accessibility. My brother uses a chair and he complains about this place all the time. We got to talking. Her name is Kieran. She is a mechanical engineer. Works for a company that designs adaptive equipment. Her brother has cerebral palsy and she got into the field because of him. We ended up chatting for probably 20 minutes, blocking the produce section, until she had to leave for a meeting. Before she left, she said, "This might be forward, but would you want to grab coffee sometime? I would love to pick your brain about accessibility issues you have encountered. We are always looking for real-world feedback on our designs." I gave her my number. I am not telling you this because I think I have met someone new, or because I am ready to date again. I am telling you because 6 months ago, if a woman had asked me for coffee, my first thought would have been, I should check with Sarah about this. 2 weeks ago, my first thought would have been, she is probably just being nice to the guy in the wheelchair. Today, my first thought was, why not? That shift feels significant. Sarah needed me to need her. She wanted my disability to define our dynamic. But meeting Kieran today reminded me that there are people in the world who see the wheelchair as just a fact, not a defining characteristic, who see me as someone worth talking to, maybe worth knowing, regardless of how I get around. I don't know if anything will come of coffee with Kieran. Maybe we will be friends. Maybe nothing will come of it at all. But the fact that I am open to finding out feels like progress. I have also been thinking about what several of you said in the comments about how Sarah revealed herself. You were right. The casino situation wasn't an isolated incident. It was a window into her character. She didn't become someone different that night. She showed me who she had been all along, and I had been too close to see it. Someone commented on my first post that the best revenge is living well. I wasn't thinking about revenge then, and I am still not now. But I am thinking about living well. I am thinking about building a life that isn't defined by what I have lost. The ability to walk a 6-year relationship. But by what I am gaining: independence, self-respect, possibility. The student loans are paid off. The girlfriend is gone. The wheelchair is temporary. And coffee with a smart, interesting woman is on my calendar for Thursday. Life is weird, you guys. A month ago, I thought I knew exactly what my future looked like. Today, I have no idea. Somehow, that doesn't scare me as much as it probably should. Thanks for being here through this. Thanks for the tough love, the reality checks, and the encouragement. Reddit can be a rough place, but you all came through when I needed it.